guys, I'm ExactChaos and welcome back to another episode of Workers and Resources Soviet Republic. This is the Rise of Cornoe and we've got our planning out here for our new coal ore industry. Now, what I did think, so we are planning out this rail setup to be able to bring people in. We talked a little bit about maybe bringing in some cable car up here, and I do think we're going to do that to try and access a little bit more of people in the middle here. Whether we've got the room, maybe we've got the room to squeeze something through there. So I guess that may be an option for us. The other thing that I'm thinking would be really good for us to do is if we bring the rail off of here. So let's have a quick look. It's going to be tight to be able to do that. I don't know if we're going to be able to do that, but bring the rail off of here and run it in here and actually do another rail setup at the back here, right? Another rail station. So that whatever we're building in this area can also be used. So we can effectively continue to fill this up with people and then get them to work somewhere via rail. So I guess that is something of interest for me. So let's make a start and start planning that out. We're getting some electricity problems here. Just want to see why is that the case. Is this guy... We're short on workers, so that's gonna be okay. So we are running numerous people into that area to be able to not run into those problems. But I guess it's not perfect. Everything is dropping in out a little bit, so we are struggling a little bit with this. Is this wow? Yeah, we are dropping power quite a bit here. Let's quickly have a look, see what's our issues with power. If I go megawatts and we go nice and large, so what are we seeing? We're seeing these things take enormous amounts of power, and that might be what's drawing out our power supply. But the rest of this looks okay. So I guess the only thing, well, these were dropping out as well, but I think now we're back up at speed. And obviously we're working on our nuclear power, which will allow us to maybe run a resilient cable through here and just top up some of these areas. But basically what we're seeing is this guy is completely over capacity, right? And then if we look at this guy over here, is a little bit over capacity. So I guess we are only on the cusp, but I think it's not that problematic. A little bit of a drop in power there is not the end of the world. This is being constructed, so we should be in a reasonable position to start running this fairly soon. Oh, that's our new train station that can go somewhere, but is not actually in use. Well, we're not planning on using that somewhere, but at least we've got some ability to move these people around somewhere. They could go this direction as well to be able to work something over here potentially, right? But let's get back to the plan at hand. If we go underground, we do have something in the way here, which I think we can just work a way around that. So I think that a couple of things that we need to do, and I've got the new planning for, that we established in Basistavi to help sort this out a little bit. So I'm not necessarily after a train depot, but I am after an end station, right? Rail end station. So that's what I'm after. Any other rail end station? So this is a rail end station that we could use. Just a slightly different look. And we'll come back. We'll come back to that. So let's do that. Right. Gives ourselves a little bit of room. Not that this is going to necessarily need all of that capacity. And then what we do is we find ourselves a good old four platform station setup, right? A 4 platform station setup. We've been using those, but I guess we won't be using that. So we need at least 4. So maybe something like this. This could work around the corner there, but I don't like that all that much. If we just go with like the mediums, right? These are only 2 platform mediums, right? So where is a 4 platform option? It must be something like this that we've been using. That seems excessive, right? That seems excessive. I wouldn't mind a 4 platform, but a small 4 platform. So something like this is probably then the right thing to do. Let's have a quick look at a few other options, potential options. That's a train station, which I guess is going to be a bit too large. Not really. It's an interesting proposition, this one. It could work in this area. I guess it can work in this area. Like if you do something like that, push it back a little and we find... I mean, we can make this work and have some paths around, and we will be able to make use of it. I don't think we'll be able to do anything on the corner here. That's just not going to work. But I think maybe it's a little bit too much for us. Maybe we just go back to something a little smaller that we could potentially do on the corner a bit. We could do something like this. If we did this, I just want to quickly have a look. And we run that one in there. It seems completely workable, to be honest. And we then run this one out this way. And this one out to that side. And I guess what we'll also do is we'll do... Yeah, see, this is where it gets a little awkward. We'll do that and this, right? So at least now we can feed all of them. We have the inbound and the outbound option. So I guess that's actually quite workable here. Also has the ability to go to the other side. This is an end station, right? I hope it works as an end station. Okay, now, now we need to... This is our inbound track, right? And I think we're going to keep it inbound as best we can. The idea, obviously, is what we're going to need to try and get off somewhere over here. And I think we could make that work, really. Let's just see what our levels are like. Ooh, it's a little tight. I guess what I'll do is I'll have to squeeze it off over here and we'll come across it again. So what we'll do, for the time being, we're quickly going to just demolish these pathways. Like that, like that, like that, all the way up to there. And we'll trim this one back a little bit. Okay. And then what we'll do is we'll pay for this in the rubles quickly. Just get rid of those paths. We'll put them back in a minute. We're going to try and get the track off of here in a reasonable fashion. So we want to just get rid of all of these paths here. Okay, now with that in mind, the game is paused. So can we please get out of here in a sensible manner? To save. It's a little bit forward because it's going to want us to do a bit of a more acute angle here. So if we did this, right, can we get the neighboring track to come in as well? We can. Okay. So I guess that's going to be pretty reasonable. And then what we need to do is start looking at how on earth we're going to tie that in. So we're going to, I guess running it straight across here is fairly reasonable. So let's do that. Let's see about what this run looks like. Yeah, I think that's okay. Let's do that. And then what do we do to tie it in here? It's a little wonky, but I think it's not the end of the world. Then basically what we do is we run the neighboring track to go all the way back. And I guess what we do is we do this. And we do that. And we would like to just tie that one in. Actually, let's just do this. Tie it in. Do this. Let's see about tying. Ooh, that's not right. Trim this for me. Now, there's a little bit of a question mark here, right? I don't think there's enough room for us to go over. And I guess we'll just, well, I think we're just gonna cross it like this. It's just gonna be what it is, right? So maybe let's trim this guy back. We should be able to run 3 across, right? So if we did this and then we tie this one in, I don't think we can run 4 across. I don't know if we necessarily need to do that, but the The issue here that I have, right, so if we do that, can we tie this in to that same? We can. So I guess that's the plan, right? That gives us, do we need to run the 4 across? I don't think so. Let's trim them back. We don't need all of this room. Right, so let's do that. Let's do this. Let's trim this back a little bit more. We only need room for a single train, I think, in each one of these to give us what we want. Yeah. Let's quickly pop in here. We'll get rid of that so that we can properly tie this in. So the idea would be that we tie this guy in. Maybe something like this. And then we'll trim this one back just a tad, and we'll tie it in. And we do it at the kind of angle that we would like. Can I go there? Get it to, let's try if we switch off the F4 and we do this and we tie it in. It's pretty close. I think that's it, right? There we go. In that seems quite workable, and that should give us enough train space here for these long trains that we're doing at the moment. Okay, so let us activate that as construction. We won't be able to come around this way, right? That's going to be completely out of the, that's not going to work. Out of the question is the word that I'm looking for. Okay, so let's do that. I will activate that construction, right? So one in, one out, and then it's one in over here, and it just starts sorting itself out in the other direction. I may pay for that, just to be honest, eventually. What we will need to do is let's get ourselves a few things in here. So we chain that way, a non-chain this way. I think now we'll have the block signal there. We'll remove this one. We'll have the chain signal up next to it. And I guess we'll remove that one, and we'll just have the one stretch between those, which I think is fine. Over here, we're going to have the chain. Got the chain there, and we'll get the block in the opposite maneuver, and we'll get rid of these two. And that should be reasonable. Then we can add an extra one up here. So let's quickly try and get rid of these two, and we'll replace them basically with some block signals. So we'll do a block signal this way and a block signal that way. At least we've got a little bit of extra room here. Yeah, it's probably just about right. Okay, good. That's I'm pretty happy with that. Now, what we'll do is we'll just need to switch up, get this back in place here. So it does work pretty well. You just cut across there. I don't know. Yeah. We'll do that, and we'll do this. And what I'll do is I will go ahead and pay for that so we can reinstate what we've taken out. But basically now we've got the additional rail tracks in here to be able to ultimately go ahead and sort all of that out. Now let's get rid of these lines, the contours. And what we'll do is we'll plan out what this looks like. So we'll definitely do kind of just straight down the middle. We can obviously tie in here a little bit later. And I think as a very start, we'll just do that, right? We'll do that, and we'll activate that construction. There's a train waiting too long. This is not a problem for us now. So that will at least tie into what we've got going on. Oh, but we're going to have to go around to tie into more of it, and we'll probably need to split off, do this side, run up there, all these kind of things. But I guess we'll get to all of that. So that is step one in our quick update here. I might also just pay for these. I don't want us to have any kind of issues with this, and we may have to end up paying for the rest of this as well. Now, the other piece of the transport puzzle that we were looking at over here is something like cable cars, and I'm very keen to use it in places like this where it is actually sensible to get it up and running over here. Now, what was this line? Was this just part of where we indicated coal? That's the coal indication there. Maybe that's just the edge of the zone. That's okay. It's not bothering us right this minute. So let's quickly have a look. Cable car systems. Over here. And we would like a small or a big cableway system. let's go with the big one. See if that can at any if there's any reasonable option for this to actually work. And I guess the answer to that is if we flip this around and we try and squeeze it in here, it's not going to work, right? So what's the difference between these two? This one takes 250, that one takes 500. So I guess we're going to go back to the small one here. We'll flip it around, and that is... Oh, no, flip it around again. Yeah, that's the one. That's the one we're after, right? Okay. And do we have a station somewhere here? We do not. So let's see if we can at all make this work, right? Something like this should be workable, right? So we'll do that. That should give us access to a lot of additional workers. Now we just need to see if that can work. A light cableway pole. Is that just different heights, I guess? Right, so we do this, but then we go higher, right? And this is via road. So I don't like the idea of doing it via road, right? So let us try the ones like this, right? And we'll give it options like this. So let's go up nice and high to give ourselves the ability to do that. So we'll flip it around like this again. So I guess try and get it here so it's reasonably spaced. Okay, beautiful. Can we go? I think we should be able to go straight over the top here. So let's just do this, and then let's start switching this stuff on so we can see how far can we go before it's an issue. Let's do about that. And now we just need to run it up to the area. Oh, the area is all the way over here. So let us not go into this direction. Let us demolish this one. We'll try that again. So give me the tool here. We'll grab this guy. And instead of running, oh, we want it to be, oh, that is the high one. Okay, well, let's do, want it to look reasonable over here as well. So let's do that. Here it's not, I'm not minding it too much. Just want to make sure we're heading in kind of the right direction. Need to be a little bit more cautious here. So this and okay, where we need to find where we're going to actually lodge this station. So if we go road connection, I think the thinking was road connection through here. Where is our road going to come in? I think we want one road to kind of serve all of this area. So let's quickly get rid of these ones. Okay, that's fine. Now what we'll need to do is we'll need to try and connect these guys up via road. Okay, so let's see. So that road connection, it seems pretty easy for it to just do this. Right, and then we should be able to tie that in like that. I'm gonna try and not terraform everything here, right? So then the idea would be that we try and run it down here. That looks reasonable. Now the question is, can we tie this guy in? I think we should be able to tie this guy in. Right, like that. It's okay. And where are we heading? Are we heading... I mean, we can do this, right? I think maybe that's the right call. And then we just go up there and try and do this, right? I think that kind of works, right? So let's do that. I don't mind running. This will be not a very busy area anyway. So let's just do that. So that's in place now. So now the next step of this puzzle is for us to do our... And actually, if we do it over here, we could actually serve all three of these. So let's do a little bit of work around that. We need to also be careful that we will need to run all of these conveyors out, which will be a completely another ball game. So can we level terrain a little bit more over here. I guess we can. I'm going to try and just level it into this area a bit, right? If we can. I'm going to try and level an area here so we have our station up here. I think that's about right. So let's do that. We go back. We obviously now want to do the small one again, but towards the other side. And I guess that's exactly right. We'll do it here. We can actually walk to two of them already just via the road network here. So I guess that's a very good starting point for us. So let's do this, pop that one in there, and then all we need to do is bring it over this way. Is this the tall one? Yeah, so let's do that. We may need, I think, more of them. Okay, so there we go. So that is effectively our cable car setup to provide workers to these two straight away, right? Potentially even this one if we work a little bit on the pathing. But I guess that is the plan, right? So now we've got this ready to go. I'll just leave it in there. We won't start the construction of it, but I guess it is a pretty good way of getting workers up here fairly effectively. So that's the cable car system ready to be further expanded upon. Let's unpause things because now things can, I think, continue. We fixed up all of these issues that we were having over here. I guess the one thing I'm a little worried about is that this road can't now actually get across here because of that. But I think we can activate this area a little bit more if we need to, right? It's not going to be a big challenge for us to do that. Okay, so I guess with this in mind, we can start having a look at our port facility, right? So these guys are still building. Our cost for foreign manpower is up, but I think our exports are holding. So I mean, we're not really in big trouble. But what we need to just have a look at, if we go back into this area, the plan will be that we give ourselves some ports facility. So let's have a quick look and plan that out. If we can do that without really terraforming this area, I'd be quite happy with that. So I want to make this be a pretty natural port. So if we go here, we would like an aggregate loading port. So this and that. Loading and unloading. So we basically only have this, right? Let's just double check that. That's the same one. I'm not too fussed by it. So I guess at the very least, we're going to have to do a little bit of terraforming here. I really hope that we have some people in place. Let's try and give ourselves the straight edge that we may need here. Similarly, let's just do a little bit of this here. So I guess that the pretty natural straight away option here. Right, we gave ourselves the room that we need. So I guess that will, with very limited terraforming, allow us to do the aggregate loading harbor here. If we go out there, yeah, that's actually pretty direct into where we're going. Move it a little bit out that way just to leave a little bit of room. There's a helicopter flying. I love it. I love the activity that we see here. So if we do that, let's put that in place. That is our coal harbor, which is bringing in everything from over this side. We will need to provide, I guess what we're going to do is we're going to do the massive storages over here so that that's ready to go. And I'm going the biggest ones we've got. Whoa, that's huge. Let's see, maybe some of these other ones are a little bit more aesthetic. 20,000 tons. What does this look like? I like it. I mean, we could do that. Where it would come in from this side. So I think we're gonna do a little something like this. Let's maybe flip it around. Yeah. Let's flip it around so we have the road on the same side. And then obviously what we want to do is we want to make sure this is directly connected, right? That's interesting. We do a very tiny little maneuver there. I think this is the location for it, right? And we could even run 2 of those if we wanted to double up on capacity, right? So can we 20,000 tons? That's definitely more than sufficient. If we go the even bigger one, right? We've got this is a 40,000 ton one. I like it. I really like it. I like the idea of it. A massive coal store. Whether we have the room to accommodate it really is the big question. But I guess that's going to look really natural in this area here. And it cuts across the little waterway there. I guess we should be able to do all 3 of them connected there. Okay, let's do that. If we place it there for a second, I want to quickly have a look. That's a huge thing. That's going to cost us, it's fine. It's aesthetically, it also works for us, right? We want to make sure that this is directly connected. And I'm kind of thinking, let's connect all 3 of them up like that. So we've got tons of capacity. I love the fact that it's kind of hugging the water there as well. So that's brilliant. I love it. I love it. Okay, nice. We will run a road in. We don't need to be too funky with it. Do we? This one will have, hang on, let's just have a look. What's the size of its, it's got a massive oil tank in there. And I guess we could always do some other localized tanks if we need to. Potentially we can share a tank between, some stuff. Anyway, this is a nice big industrial setup, right? So we're going to run up here and we're going to tie it in kind of like that. We don't want to get too close to it because we may need to have some areas where the conveyors tie in. So that's the big plan, right? So the idea is, let's try and look. So if we go, I think these 2 can cut across here, and these 2, I think they can all cut across that way, right? If we can get across the, we can get across it. So let's have a look. So let's find the conveyor system. We are after 3 into 1, and I still don't know actually what the actual limits are for these guys. So do we have, I think, we do have the options of doing a 3 into 1 pedestrian path only. I think that's kind of the idea that I'd be going for, right? So let's start off with the basics. And I don't think we'll be able to do 2 full loads, but I guess because we'll be loading ships, it's not the end of the world to have it slow. We'll have some of it slow. So let's start by saying, well, we'll want it to be a road connection. I'm not sure this is going to work though. So let's try and do what we can over here. Okay, if we scroll over this way, we just need to keep an eye on where we're heading, right? We're heading all the way down. I guess we're going down here, right? Let's just maneuver it a little bit so we've got a little bit of room here. Let's do that. Down there. Oh, we'll need to power all of this, of course. Right? Go down there. Go down here. Actually, just running it like this is going to be fine. Oh, we can do it directly like that? Wow. I wouldn't mind just getting it a little bit closer. So if we did this and I do an extra 1, at least we can run it out on that side. Let's do that. Yeah, let's do this. Beautiful. So let's do that. So that gives us at least our first one in there, and it should be fairly okay for us to just tie in like that. And it is a drop down to get into it, but I guess that's nice and high. And if we go up here, that'll work fairly well. So let's activate the construction on that. So this is kind of the primary part. Now let's see. Can we tie in? Can we tie in something that works here? Oh man, look at that. Hang on. Look at this. I guess that is the plan, right? Get that one in place. That gets us this one. Now the question around this one is, do we go around this way and then tie in somewhere over here? Let's have a quick look what our options are here, but I'm liking it. We don't necessarily need to load it from this side, so let's just make sure. If we did this and then we did that, can we now get across here? Is my question. And I guess that's the issue with this, right? So we've got this one directly in the path here. So hang on. Let me demolish this. Try it again. I guess if we move it a little bit here, you might be able to squeeze underneath there. Or alternatively, if we look at a lower option, let's have a look. Let's just have a look at what our options are here. If we grab this one, can we get, okay, so we can't go up or down. These are fixed. So do we need to go down right in the middle? Or do we need to go somewhere like this? Let's zoom in here a bit. Yeah, this seems to be at a height that's going to be problematic for us regardless, right? So I guess the question is, we should be able to get a road in here. So let's get rid of these two. Maybe what we do is we get a road option one that's nice and low, which should be able to give us what we want here. So 3 into 1, we're after the lowest of the low. And to be honest, the lowest of the low is not very low. What it is, maybe if we do this and we take it up nice and high and we align it with the middle, something like that, could we potentially make this work? Oh, this thing you can build anywhere. Really? Is this gonna be the issue for us? Just try if we try and connect it up directly. There is other infrastructure in the way, but we do need to cross it, right? So let's just go back. Maybe we just build a couple more of these guys, right? So let's do. Okay, so there's something there that we obviously need to get rid of, right? Let's just get rid of this thing and get rid of that thing. And then what we do is let's try and get the infrastructure that we need in place here, right? So that can work. We'll not pay for it. We'll try that, right? That gets it. Wow, that's I'm not sure that's the way to go, right? That seems to be quite problematic. Let's just go back to the other ones that we're using. Seeing more electricity problems. If we go this here, be kind of reasonable. You know what? Maybe if we level the terrain here, let's just try a little bit something here, right? So if we go and we level the terrain here just a little bit, so it's kind of a little bit lower. Maybe let's do something like that, right? There's a little bit of a low point here. Maybe that could work. So now we go back, we grab it, we put it in here. Wow, they want to try and tie it in directly, right? So let's just do that. And maybe that gives us opportunities to get these other guys across, right? So now let's go up, up, up. Okay, so this works. And this works. And I guess what we'll do is we'll do that, right? Oh, no, no, that didn't work. Does that work? It doesn't actually show it to us, does it? But I wouldn't mind. I just need us to get it to work. Let's demolish this one again. And we'll demolish this one again. We'll try that one more time. I can't figure out if it's actually working or not. Let's just try that again. So presumably, so those two aren't connecting, right? But if we, okay, and this is going potentially underneath, but we don't want to do that. Right? We want the nice and high option. So this does not connect to the other side. And so we'll do that. And then can we, oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah. And then we get that. Right, so now that does all connect up. Okay, beautiful. So we've done our crossing there. Wow, very complex crossings. Now let's go back to our connections here. And I guess we're just gonna run it up. No, 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 no. What am I doing? 3 into 1, but we needed to go. Oh jeez. Oh jeez. Let's just double check what we've done here. Did I go the wrong way with this? No, I didn't. No, I didn't. No, I didn't. I just need to turn this thing to be appropriate. And we'll spread it out so it's a nice and there we go. So there we go. So that actually constitutes our entire conveyor system, which will be enormously expensive to build, by the way. And I guess we can just tie this one in there directly. So that'll be enormously expensive to build in terms of its resources, right? But it does give us this entire thing as a workable option now. So I'm loving it. So that's pretty good. Money-wise, we are making money again. This is good. We can actually start the construction of this. This does not need water and stuff, but it will need power, which we will need to provide, which I don't think is too problematic. Let's get the road segment here under construction. All of the rest is okay. We can make a start on this construction project. So let's do, get about the helicopters and let's start the road building opportunities here. We could actually get the helicopters to play their part here, right? Let's do that. Start getting the helicopters in to start building some of this stuff. I'm loving the idea of our coal port here, and it's going to make this area, this canal section here, so busy. I'm not sure we're going to have a very busy canal over here, but at least we'll have that canal quite busy. Shall we start activating some construction items on this side? Oh, yeah, this path has already been built. And then I guess once that's done, we will start the construction of these ones. And we can also start this construction here. Let us go and do that. I guess we can build a vehicle repair or a vehicle maintenance facility here as well. Let's do that, pay for that little slither, and we'll get this guy to start construction. There's plenty of work that still needs to happen before we get to a place where it's sensible. But that's all pretty good. Oh, the other piece of this puzzle that I don't have in place now, of course, is we will need this to be able to turn in that direction, though. And there's not a lot of room. So let's just quickly figure out. We want it to be reasonable, right? But I guess I don't have. We want room between here and here for one train. Right. So I guess if we go from there, that is not too bad. So if we go from there, can we also get the inner one to work? We most certainly can. I guess that's the plan then, right? Right over here. What we'll need to do is we'll need to clear this out a little bit. So let me quickly pay for that slither. At the same time, I'll pay for this. At the same time, I'm going to pay for a little segment here. We don't want it to be quite like that. So let me grab an extra. Oh, let me actually get some. We need to have a look at this, right? So let me throw these out, and we'll put some new ones in here. We'll just put the normal ones in there and there. So we'll be able to pay for that. On this side, we want the chain here and the block on this side, and I guess the train will just about fit. We might be able to bring this a little bit that way as well. And at the same time, what I'll do is I will get rid of these two. This needs to be a chain over here and a block over here, and we'll get rid of those signals. And that kind of gives us everything we need. That's a bit of a small intersection, so we won't have signals in the middle of it, but that would work. Now we can also pay for these little segments here just to get out of that area. So that gives us the ability to now get the train to move people directly to this station and feed these guys. And I guess from there we can then allocate the 100% this way, because we won't be able to necessarily feed people via train. Well, they feed over here and we feed there. We won't be able to necessarily get to this guy. But anyway, I think that is pretty good. Now we're in a position to actually build in more housing over here. I'm also tempted to start the construction process on this, but for the time being, we might still play around with it, move it a little bit around. Okay, let's quickly do a quick recap of what else is underway at the moment. Are we starting? Oh, we built some stuff here, but we haven't actually assigned any vehicles. So let's pause it for a second here. This guy is effectively loading, a variety of different things, right? But what we're saying is, what we need to understand, you're loading from Hasselgrad. Okay, so let's, as a starting point, let us copy the functionality. So copy the tasks, right? Which is this, and we paste it over there. Okay. So as a starting point, we're loading there, right? But what we don't want to do is we want to get rid of most of these. And we want to go ahead and load some others, right? So from there, we now say, please take that and unload it over there, right? So we'll do that, and that one as a starting point, and we'll flip it to unloading. And of course, what we want to do is make sure we're unloading to 100. We don't want to be unloading just 30. So let's do that, unloading. So now we've got plenty of them unloading this way. We could obviously assign a bit more of it, but I'd rather keep those spots open so that in effect we'll load to some other spots as well. So let's do that. So that's a starting point. We want to make sure that all destinations go up to like 100, so you can quite comfortably go and do your 100. So now let's quickly pop over to the place. We want at least 4, the place where we're building garbage trucks, which is over here. This is full. We need to either sell something. Let's grab some garbage trucks if we have them. Don't see any of them over there. We don't have... Oh, no, here they are. Oh, this is under construction. Can I please pay for that? Let's just get that sorted out. And what I'm keen on is grabbing 4 garbage trucks. Do we have 4 garbage trucks? Yeah, we do. On there. So that's 4 garbage trucks. So just grab those, move them on over, and then what we'll do is we'll quickly sell a train. So we'll continue bumping up our numbers a little bit. These guys will be making their way over here. So come and work that building for me. Come and work this building. Come and work this building. That one. Okay, so that should get that up and running for us. Now let's go back over. We want to keep building trains, so let's sell a train. Here. So how many trains do we have? So we've got some of these guys. I'm kind of, where do we have some room? Got the guy, one of these guys has the, railway production. So one of those guys, and we've got the extra one. I guess what I'll do is I'll move this one to the depot, so we at least have an extra passenger train if we want to start using it. And then what we'll do is we'll quickly sell those 2 because we do have a spare. We'll sell those 2 by grabbing the guy here and just say, go ahead and, go to that one and then just make a start, right? So we'll go ahead, send out the train to go and sell those 2. This guy's just been done. I guess it can sell all 3 of them, to be honest. Since we're moving this guy out, we can sell all 3 of them. We will need more passenger trains, and having them ready might not be the end of the world. So let's get the extra passenger train in here as well, please. So we'll keep the passenger trains for the time being. That one should have potentially waited for us. But anyway, so we'll get that one sold out. So let's quickly have a look at what else is happening over here. The next, one of the things we need to do is have a look at what this infrastructure needs to be. And I'm kind of playing around with it a little bit. We'll need to build a little bit of a land platform here to allow for an intersection. I'm kind of playing around with a bit of a both sides of the track, bridge, cross section, blah, blah, blah. And we'll see what that kind of looks like. Oh, there is still road building activity going on over here. So that's pretty good. Let's see. This still needs. Ooh. No. This is where it was, right? Yeah. This is all the way up to where it was. We do need to tie this in and get that to work. I think none of this is under construction at the moment, right? Are we? Oh, we've built all the way up to here. So let's quickly just assign a little bit of construction to these path areas here. So at least we are slowly getting the roundabout built. All of this is in place. Oh, we've got. It's just very, very low on workers, but we're getting these tunnels in place. So hopefully that is moving. We'll have another port over here, another aggregate port over here for iron, which is okay. We're not going to need that straight away. And this is progressing. If we go underground very quickly, we can see that it's under construction. Yes, they're all under construction. These are built, I guess. And this is the one in the middle that's still under construction. So we are ready to go almost immediately with this stuff. We have this thing powered, ready to go. It just doesn't have workers. So the moment we deliver workers here, we'll be able to start populating this area. This train station is almost ready, so we'll be able to run workers out to another area. So I think I probably won't be prioritizing this area. Maybe a couple of buildings here. We don't have any kind of shops here, so we'll need to plan this area out a little bit more before we can get people in here. This shouldn't be working at the moment. We do need another prison going. They're actively trying to build a lot of this stuff. So we'll get that going. So I guess the next big bunch of people needing to move in is this area. We should hopefully be able to really load between these two. We should be able to really load workers for this hillside complex. The benefit of the train here, of course, is that we can also send workers out to this complex over here that needs some support. But I'm a little bit worried about here is a fire. I am worried about a fire. And of course, where is our closest fire station? Let's have a quick look. Do we have a fire? We don't have a fire station on this side. I guess we have a fire station over here. But that one is not going to get there. We've got workers all the way up here. And I guess we can get them all the way in here. Let's just have a look. If we have a look at where these guys can walk to. Yeah, that's pretty tight, to be honest, to get to those locations. Okay, adding a fire station, we may need to do it like here somewhere if we wanted to make it work. We won't be able to get a fire station in this area working, which may or may not be what we need. Alternatively, we could run a little pathway up somewhere over here and get another fire station going in this area. I'm just very worried about these guys. Oh, let's just see. Where is our closest helicopter fire station? We've got fire stations in here, but none of them are helicopter, right? There's one over here, I guess. So let's just have a look to see what our distances that we can travel from there is. Can we get the helicopters out into the area? It doesn't actually. Oh, it does. It does show us. But even from a helicopter perspective, we're not quite there. So I guess what we need to do is get fire station somewhere over here and have a helicopter on it. Let's have a look at this. Maybe this one. Maybe that spot right over there is where we can squeeze in a fire station. Let's quickly let's get started on that because that may be a big challenge for us. We want a tiny little fire station. So maybe something like this, right? It takes 2, 3, 8, 2, 4, 4, 5. So this This could squeeze in here and work, right? But what we'll need to do is give it a... Let's say we make that work, right, as the fire station. We just want to make sure we've also got a helicopter landing pad, what have you, for it. So if we go here to airplanes, I think we've got... What is this? This is a rooftop heliport. A red rooftop heliport. So this does work. Yeah, I think that's okay. So I think we can... Oh, want to do that, right? So that should... Yeah, I don't mind that. I think that is actually quite sensible. And I guess I just want to double check we can actually get workers here. So if we were to take... Yeah, that path there might be a little bit too much. I guess the plan would be that we would run up here and then tie in right over there, right? And then I guess what I want to understand is, can we see how far you can go? And I guess that's the problem. It's not going to work. So what we may need to do is we may need to do some bridge work to get an option to come in here. So let's cancel those. Let's have a quick look at bridge work in the next episode. We'll pick up here because it is getting a little bit too lengthy now. Guys, so thank you so much for watching. So there's so much going on, and we're slowly building up to some really interesting and complex kind of movement of goods and people to try and, maximize our productivity. Our money is at least holding up, and we will slowly start transitioning to nuclear power as we get that other side going. Again, as always, if you've got some suggestions about names for our coal hill, our nuclear area, please do leave them in the comments down below. I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.